Tomorrow night, I'm gonna smash your boy, guys. I'm gonna smash your boy.
Massive right from Nurmagomedov! And
Dagestan has produced legends. But this fighter, he doesn't just dominate, he terrifies. Is this the most dangerous warrior the mountains have ever unleashed? From the unforgiving slopes of Dagestan have come some of MMA's most dominant athletes, wrestlers, grapplers, champions. But among all the warriors that have risen from that rugged land, one name stands apart, not just for how he wins, but for how he instills fear. Here, we're talking about a man who doesn't just outfight his opponents, he intimidates them into collapse. A fighter whose presence is as chilling as his power.
He's gonna run over to his corner. Oh, he went full lock.
Beautiful!
Someone who blends relentless pressure with precision violence, who doesn't just grind you out, but shatters your confidence. We'll compare him to other Dagestani icons, including Khabib Nurmagomedov and Islam Makhachev, to see how his style, demeanor, and destruction level stack up. When you hear the words Dagestan and MMA, one name usually comes to mind: Khabib Nurmagomedov, undefeated, untouchable, the embodiment of discipline and control. But fear is a different conversation. And if you're talking fear, pure, cold, knockout-fueled fear, there's a name that deserves just as much weight. Muslim Salikhov, also known as the King of Kung Fu. He doesn't get the same headlines as Khabib or Islam Makhachev. He's not a world champion in the UFC yet. But ask the men who've stood across from him, and they'll tell you, Muslim Salikhov is terrifying. This man has 199 professional fights to his name, 185 wins, 76 by knockout. That's not just experience.
some marvelous moments. Not much better than that.
That's execution. Born and raised in Dagestan, Salikhov didn't follow the wrestling-heavy blueprint. Instead, he mastered the art of wushu sanda, a hybrid of striking, throws, and raw kinetic violence. 5-time world champion, first non-Chinese athlete to win the King of Sanda title, a man who broke traditions and broke bones, doing it. When he transitioned to MMA, many doubted the style would hold up. But one by one, those doubts got silenced by spinning kicks, overhand rights, and brutal knockouts. His UFC debut may have started with a loss, but what followed were pure highlight reels. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't need to. His fists speak fluently. Just ask Rick Rainey, Nordine Taleb, or Andre Fialho, fighters who came in confident and left barely conscious. And even at 40 years old, Salikhov is still landing spinning wheel kicks like he's in his prime. His recent KO of Song Kenan wasn't just another win, it was a warning. The King of Kung Fu is still lethal. What makes him Dagestan's most fearsome fighter isn't just his record, it's the way he finishes fights. Unpredictable, sudden, violent. The man doesn't just beat you, he humbles you. He's not a grinder. He's not a decision machine. He's a predator in motion, hunting for that one moment to end it all. In a region known for control and dominance, Salikhov represents chaos, and that's what makes him so dangerous. So when we ask, who's the most fearsome?
And that was digged down by Nurmagomedov. Beautiful trip. He's locking up a front choke on him.
Fighter Dagestan has ever produced. It's time we put respect where it's due. Khabib may be the eagle, but Muslim Salikhov, he's the storm. Dagestan is known for producing dominant fighters, masters of control, suffocating pressure, and relentless discipline. Wrestlers like Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, and Usman Nurmagomedov have carved their legacies through methodical, overwhelming gameplay. But Muslim Salikhov is something else entirely. He doesn't grind you down. He doesn't squeeze out decisions. He finishes you, and he does it with flair that borders on frightening. That's the difference. What makes Salikhov more intimidating than other Dagestani fighters is the unpredictability of his violence. While most fighters from the region come at you with relentless wrestling and tactical discipline, Salikhov comes with chaos, and chaos, when delivered with precision, is terrifying. Picture it. You step into the cage expecting
Some marvelous moment. Nobody is! Not much better than that! What a knockout for Muslim Salikhov!
grappling. You trained sprawls, escapes, scrambles. You think you know what's coming. Then, out of nowhere, spinning, wheel kick, or a lunging overhand right. And suddenly, the lights go out. Muslim Salikhov doesn't just strike, he hunts. He reads movement like a predator stalking prey. His timing isn't robotic, it's instinctive. He has that rare ability to make brutal technique look almost effortless. And unlike other Dagestani legends who suffocate the fight, Salikhov electrifies it. Look at his highlights. They're not just impressive, they're cinematic. Fighters like Rick Rainey and Andre Fialho didn't just lose, they got dismantled, spun, dropped, dazed. He's the kind of opponent you can't train for, because you don't know what angle he'll come from. You don't know if you'll blink and miss the moment everything changes. And it's not just his power, it's the silence. Salikhov doesn't talk trash. He doesn't sell fights. He walks in, drops bodies, walks out. That cold professionalism, that calm brutality, that's what really shakes fighters. They see a man with no emotion, only intention. It's also about longevity.
Before 1 month before, I like it so much. I love them. So beautiful city. And
He's 40 years old and still finishing younger, more hyped fighters with kicks most athletes can't pull off in their prime. He's proven he doesn't need age on his side, just timing, experience, and ice in his veins. Other Dagestani fighters dominate. Muslim Salikhov terrorizes, and that's why, even without the same promotional push, even without the belts, he might be the most intimidating product Dagestan has ever produced. In a world of pressure and control, he brings chaos and finality. He's not the storm that builds slowly. He's the lightning strike you never see coming. In a sport filled with physical punishment, brutal technique, and elite conditioning, it's easy to forget one of the most powerful tools a fighter can carry into the cage. Fear, not their own, yours. Because fear, in mixed martial arts, isn't just a feeling, it's a force. It shifts strategy, it disrupts rhythm, and in the hands of a true master, fear becomes a weapon more destructive than any punch or submission. Think about it. How do you fight at your best when the man across from you has already taken up space in your head? When you've spent weeks watching highlight reels of spinning wheel kicks, one-punch knockouts, and cold, calculated destruction, when you're not just preparing for a fight, you're bracing for survival. That's the psychological terrain Muslim Salikhov operates in. While many Dagestani fighters dominate with pressure and control, Salikhov injects uncertainty. You don't know what's coming, only that when it lands, it'll hurt. That unpredictability breeds anxiety, and anxiety breaks game plans. Fear changes how you move. You flinch more. You hesitate before throwing. You second-guess your range. And in those tiny moments of doubt, fighters like Salikhov capitalize. Because they're not reacting, they're waiting. You saw it with fighters like Rick Rainey, Andre Fialho, and Song Keenan, men who entered confident and left dazed, staring at the lights, not because they were outclassed by volume, but because they got caught in the space between caution and reaction, where fear lives. And it's not just physical fear, it's reputational. When a man has 76 knockouts across nearly 200 fights,
And he spills Fialho for Salikhov.
you know exactly what he's capable of. That knowledge follows you into the cage. You carry it like a weight. It sits in the back of your mind with every exchange. And when fatigue sets in, that fear gets louder. Some fighters feed off adrenaline. Salikhov operates on ice. He doesn't rush. He doesn't chase. He waits. He stalks. He calculates. And that patience under pressure is terrifying, because you know he only needs one shot. Fear is also a tool for control. If your opponent is fighting scared, you control the pace. You dictate the exchanges. You own the space. And that's what Salikhov has done for years, turning even experienced fighters into panicked versions of themselves. So yes, fear is a weapon. It doesn't show up on the scorecards. It's not measured in knockdowns, but it changes outcomes all the same. And fighters like Muslim Salikhov, they don't just punch you, they plant doubt. And when the bell rings, that doubt hits first, long before the fists do. Dagestan has given the world champions, tacticians, maulers, men who broke records and broke wills. But Muslim Salikhov is something else. He doesn't smother you. He doesn't talk you down. He steps in, waits, and then unleashes. One moment of hesitation, one misstep, and the lights go out. This isn't dominance by decision. This is destruction by design. This is fear, used like a scalpel. This is why he may be Dagestan's most fearsome fighter of all time. So now it's your turn. Who's the scariest fighter to ever walk out of Dagestan? Drop your pick in the comments. Does Salikhov top your list? Subscribe if you want more